Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Welcome to the online teaching academy Ekalaiva, class 10 Social Science. So far we are discussing about the sectors of the Indian economy. In the previous session, you have learnt about the different economic activities such as the primary sector, secondary sector, and tertiary sector. And also you have learnt about the interdependency of three sectors. But now we are going to learn a new topic, that is comparing the three sectors. Okay, so now we are going to step into our concept comparing the three sectors. So we know the three sectors are there. So these three sectors are produce various goods and service, isn't it? And they produce a large number of goods and service. And also the three sectors have a large number of people working in them. So all the three sectors are engaging more number of people, isn't it? So in this way, in this situation, how do we compare the three sectors? For comparing the three sectors, we have to look at two things in our mind. The first one is how much goods and service are produced in each sector. And second thing, how many people work in each sector. So what is the first thing we have to keep in mind? How much goods and services are produced in each sector, and second thing, how many people work in each sector, right? And now, how do we count the various goods and services and know the total production in each sector? Okay, so how do we count the various goods and service, children? For example, yeah, from primary activity we will get milk, isn't it? And then from secondary activity we are getting some product, like we can take a cloth. And of course, the treasury activity, it provides service, like we can mention the service rendered by a doctor or a lawyer or a cobbler. So we can take anything. So how can we compare the milk produced from the primary with that of the service rendered by a doctor? Or how do we compare a cloth with the milk? So it is something a difficult one. So to solve out this problem, the economist suggested that the value of final goods and service should be used for counting rather than adding up the actual numbers. Okay. So based on this, yeah, if we take a milk, 1 liters of milk is worth about rupees 50, and a cotton shirt is worth about 800, for example. And if we take a service rendered by a doctor or a cobbler or anything, each service has some billing and payment, isn't it? So in this way, if we take the value of the goods and service, we'll come to know, we can easily compare between the sectors. So the economics suggested that the value of goods and service should be used for counting rather than adding up the actual numbers. And now, how do we count the various goods and service? Again, if to count various goods and service produced in each sector, we have to be precautious while counting. So, what are the precautions we have to take? While counting the total production of a sector, the value of only the final goods is included and not the intermediate goods. The value of final goods is already included the value of the intermediate goods. If we also count the value of intermediate goods, then it will lead to double counting. That is the counting of the value of the good more than once. Okay. For example, for this, so look at the example. You will come to know very clearly about the precautions you have to take while counting the production of a sector. So while counting the production of the sector, you have to keep one thing in your mind, that the value of only the final goods is included and not the intermediate goods. Let us take an example. The farmer sells the wheat at rupees 8 per kg to the flour mill. So the flour mill grinds the wheat and it makes a flour, and then it sell the flour to the biscuit company at rupees 10 per kg. And then the biscuit company uses the other ingredients such as the oil, sugar, and etc. to make a biscuit. So, what is the final product here? We are getting biscuit from the wheat and it reaches the consumers at last. Okay. So, the biscuit company sold the biscuit to uh, rupees 15 per packet. Okay. So, in this way, we have to keep only the value of the final goods to while calculating the total production in a sector and not the intermediate goods. Okay, so here the value of the biscuit is rupees 15. It will be counted as it already included the value of wheat, flour, and then the oil, sugar used by the biscuit company. So we already added the value of the intermediate goods, and then the biscuit uh, the biscuits are sold at rupees 15. So the rupees 15 means it included the value of the other product, that is intermediate product, which are used to produce the final product biscuit. Okay, and now let us take in another example. So if a person is purchasing a car is worth about 4 lakhs and 50,000. Yes. Okay, so the car manufacturer, to produce a car, the car manufacturer have to purchase the various components like a mirror, engine, lights, bumper, tires, and glass, and everything. So, so the car manufacturer have to purchase the various components, and he is making a final product called car, and it's worth about 4 lakhs and 50,000. So this 4 lakh and 50,000, it's already included the intermediate goods value such as the tire and engine, mirror, paint, glass, light, and bumper. So the 4 lakhs and 50,000 means uh, that value, it's already included the intermediate goods. Okay. So here the only final value of goods and service are used for calculating the production in a sector. Is it clear now? So you have to keep one thing in your mind: what is final goods and what is intermediate goods. So you have to clarify that. So final goods means that are referred to the finished product that are sold in the market. So final goods means it refers to the finished product or goods that are reached the market. And intermediate goods, that means which are used by the producer for producing the other goods, are known as intermediate goods. If you take an example of biscuit, what is the intermediate goods in that? The flour and the sugar, oil used by the biscuit company are the intermediate goods for preparing the biscuit. And if you take a car, what is the intermediate goods? The glass, bumper, engine, tire. Uh, all these things are the intermediate goods. So, what is intermediate goods? Which are used by the producer to produce other goods. It is called as intermediate goods. Okay. And now we are going to step into a new concept, that is a gross domestic product. What is this gross domestic product? Who has undertaken this GDP calculation and all? We are going to see in this uh, topic. Okay. So gross domestic product is also known as the GDP. Okay, it's shortly known as the GDP. So what is this gross domestic product? The value of final goods and service produced in each sector during a particular year that provides the total production of the sector for that year. So what is the production of the each sector? So the value of the final goods and service produced in each sector during a particular year, that is a total production of the sector for that year. Okay. And the sum production of three sectors gives the gross domestic product of the country. So what is the sum production? That is the value of that is the income of the primary sector, and the income of the secondary sector, and the income of the tertiary sector. So together, so all the production, all the production in the three sectors gives the gross domestic product of the country. The sum production means income of the primary sector plus income of the secondary sector plus the income of the tertiary sector. Together we call it as a gross domestic product of a country. And this GDP means it's the value of all the final goods and service produced within a country during a year. So GDP means, what is GDP? It is the value of all the final goods and service produced within a country during a year. And of course, the GDP shows how big is the economy is. Yes? Okay. So who has undertaken this GDP? Who has undertaken to measure the GDP of a country? So this difficult task has been undertaken by the central government ministry. Okay, so the ministry, with the help of the various government departments of all the Indian states and the union territories, they will collect information regarding the total production of goods and service in each sector, and finally they will compile together, and they will prepare the GDP. They will prepare the GDP of the country. So the GDP measuring uh, has been undertaken by the central government ministry with the help of the Indian states and union territories. Okay. So now it is a time for note down the assignment, children. So how do we calculate the GDP? And second one, what is GDP of a country? And who has undertaken this task of measuring the GDP in India? Okay. So today, in this session, you have learnt about how do we count various goods and service, and also you have learnt about what is GDP and who has undertaken the measuring of GDP and all. Okay. So the remaining part we will see in the next session, children. To receive our online lessons, subscribe our channel, and you will get the latest notifications. Thank you. Thank you, children.